This is a fair spoiler. If you haven't seen the movie and plan on it and would care about it getting spoiled, you should probably stop watching the video.
Hey there, and welcome to ZeitgeistOG, and today we're going to do an Endgame spoiler review, but you already knew it was spoilers because you clicked on the thumbnail. You okay there? You ready? You ready to do this?
Yeah.
You alright? So, you guys like Black Widow?
Well, the movie gives you a big ol' one of these.
Yeah, I totally did not see that coming, but she's dead.
Not at all. So as we just saw, we just wrapped a showing of Avengers Endgame, and it kind of blew our minds, and we got a lot to talk about. So here we are, Fat Man and Skeletor, and we are giving you our full review of Avengers Endgame. Like we said, there are spoilers. At this point, we don't care about warning you anymore.
Yeah, you already knew what you were getting into when you clicked on this.
You knew.
So, let's just jump into the opening. This picks up like 2 days after Infinity War.
And it happens pretty damn quick how everything kind of plays out. For one thing, Thanos is beheaded and dead in like the first 10 minutes of this movie.
Yeah, they take him out pretty quick. Here's the thing though. You get that opening monologue from the trailer with Tony Stark talking to his helmet, and then he's saved by Captain Marvel. And by the time he gets to Earth, he looks like a f***ing skeleton. Like, they did some kind of CGI to make him look like... Yeah, he looks like a cancer patient. But if this takes place like 2 days after Infinity War, how the hell are you going to lose that much weight that quick? Because, like, he's been out there for weeks, but...
I don't know. Space depression.
Yeah.
Either way. So they find out where Thanos is. They all ambush him. And immediately, they find out that he snapped a second time to destroy the stones.
Oh, he's messed up.
And that's when Thor just brings out his giant axe 10 minutes into this movie and decapitates him. And when asked why, he goes, I went for the head. And then something that actually took us both by surprise, like right after that, there is a 5-year time jump.
We're now in 2023.
And now it's time to play character catch-up because there is a little bit to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
For one thing, Tony is completely given up on this. He does not care anymore. He calls Captain America a liar, and he's done. And he has a daughter now. Yeah.
He's complaining that we're the Avengers. We act retroactively. We don't do anything preemptively.
We're not the pre-Avengers.
Yeah.
For another thing, Black Widow is now kind of
S.H.I.E.L.D.
leading the operation. She's
took over Nick Fury's spot.
She's keeping communication with Nebula and Rocket and Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel actually says she's not going to be around for a long time because there is some shit going on in the universe.
Yeah. Earth can have the Avengers. The rest of the universe can have Captain Marvel.
And if all that isn't depressing for you enough to follow the opening scene of this film, literally you jump right into Hawkeye's family getting nuked.
Yeah.
So we're also looking for Hawkeye.
Damn. Yeah. He had that ankle bracelet. Yep. They were monitoring him.
Same as
His family
Scott
gets nuked, and then he just goes off the reservation.
And then he's done. We find Bruce Banner working in a restaurant, and he's made peace and coexistence with his Hulk stuff, so now he's just permanently like that.
I don't think he was working in the restaurant. I think that's just where he was having lunch that day.
Either way, he is fully merged with the Hulk. They are no longer two separate things.
I thought this was funny, a group of fans come over and ask for pictures with him, and he dabs.
He dabs.
Hulk dabs.
But I think the absolute funniest character catch-up moment was with Thor on New Asgard.
Oh,
where, by the way, we find out that Valkyrie is. And
the scene when you pull up to New Asgard, you've got Hulk in the backseat of a pickup truck. He's all crouched down, like just trying to fit in with Rocky Raccoon next to him. And like every single bump the truck hits, like there's sparks flying and shit.
At one point, Rocket gets out, and then as Hulk is getting out, the whole front end of the truck is up here. But they walk into Thor and find him with Meek and Korg playing video games, playing Fortnite specifically.
Yes, Thor is like a Fortnite god now.
It's shit-talking a kid on the mic and everything. Eating pizza.
And guzzling kegs of beer.
With a gut that is like rivals mine, which was hilarious because I could finally identify with a superhero.
Yeah.
But here's what we're not filling you in on. Why are these characters? Why are we finding Thor? Why are we finding Clint? The missing piece in all of this is Ant-Man, as we go into our main plot synopsis.
He has been stuck in the quantum realm since the end of Infinity War.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Well, yeah, but that wraps...
Oh, yeah.
That ends with the snap, so...
Right. I forgot. He actually wasn't in that battle. But he's been stuck in the quantum realm for a while, only to accidentally shoot out in a backlot.
Because a rat just happened to be climbing over the instruments and just hit the right number of switches.
So the quantum realm just straight up spits him out, and he walks... Here's where you start to see pans of the city of Ruin, New York, which is rubble at this point. Just destruction,
it's not
demolition.
devastated, but... No, it's not devastated that bad. It's still there, but, like, it's...
There's, like, nobody there.
Nobody's there, but the city itself looks... It's okay.
So our little ant friend comes up with the conclusion that quantum physics could probably jump them back in time to undo all the crap that just happened. So we start rounding up all the Avengers. We meet, Black Widow finds Hawkeye in Tokyo, just absolutely ravaging people and slaughtering people.
He was taking out some Yakuza guys.
Bruce said he left a pile of bodies in Mexico. And so we find Hawkeye, we get him back, we find Thor, everybody's coming back basically at this point, and even Tony gets on board after solving their little time mystery.
Oh yeah, because at the same time now, Bruce Hulk, Professor Hulk comes up with the idea, what if we time travel to fix this? So they start working with Ant-Man to work on it. And there's this cute little scene of like Ant-Man trying to time travel.
Yeah, the time test.
And he like time travels into a baby, then he time travels into an old man, then he time travels back into himself, and like he's like, man, somebody wet my suit and I don't know if it was baby me or old me.
It's great. Either way, they figure out that...
Tony's working on it at the same time.
Yeah, simultaneously. And they figure out that the key is quantum physics. They find a way to safely do it, but they only have enough Pym particles, which is powering their quantum suits for one round trip each with no shenanigans.
With 2 test runs. 1 test run.
That was great.
Yeah.
And that's one thing we won't give you if you haven't seen it yet, but that is a very funny scene.
Yeah, that was decent.
So... Generally, I really don't like things with time travel. I think it's an easy cop-out. But surprisingly, they kind of toyed with it in a really interesting way because they rule out that if you do something in the past, it's going to affect your future. And they also kind of shimmy around with the multiverse to where it's not specifically just shooting off 1,000 realities per action. So it's kind of really interesting.
Something that I really like here is that because this is like, even though it's superheroes cape shit, it's set in reality. This is supposed to be modern day real life. This is a world where these time travel movies exist. Like they listed off like 10 different time travel movies.
Quantum Leap, Ant-Man, and I think it was Bruce Banner have a funny back and forth.
Yeah, they just start naming movies that deal with time travel.
Listing off like 15, and Tony's like, that's not how it works. And Scott's like, so Back to the Future was basically bullshit.
Yeah, but the point is, it takes place in a world where these things exist. Like when you see a zombie movie, zombies are never a thing in zombie movies.
So, I don't know, it was really interesting, and they kind of play with the physics to where it's not a total cop-out move. But we'll get into a little bit more of that later. We'll launch our plot forward. So the plot is for everybody to kind of go back to where the Infinity Stones appeared at some point in time and gather them. And there's a hilarious scene where Black Widow, Iron Man, and Hulk are kind of laying down, sprawled out on a bench discussing stuff. And I think it was Tony who mentions Doctor Strange, and she's like, wait, he lived in New York?
Yeah.
You know, if you go back to a specific period in time, you could get 3 Infinity Stones in one go.
Yeah, 3 Infinity Stones in New York within 1 year.
And everybody just has this holy shit moment. So they go back, and you get a lot of various scenes that we won't really get into of everybody retrieving their time stones. Thor's
I kind of feel like we should get into that a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. We'll play with it a little bit. But Thor...
We're going back to the very first Avengers movie.
Oh,
Technically right after the first Avengers movie.
We re-see a little bit of the background of the Battle of New York from the first Avengers.
Yeah. You see them walking Loki in handcuffs from the top of the Avengers Tower all the way down to the basement, the ground floor. Yeah. That's where they time travel back to.
And Thor also time travels back to Asgard on the day his mother is supposed to die, so you get a really nice back and forth between them, and her kind of telling him like, hey, you're a failure, but everybody does, you know, find you, stop being who you think you're supposed to be and be who you are, and blah, blah, blah. And you get a lot of these scenes where everybody's gathering up, and then you get to one of the... In our opinion, one of the biggest, like, holy shit, I did not see that coming moment in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And so Hawkeye and Widow basically go after the Soul Stone.
Vormir. Yeah, they go after Soul Stone on Vormir. They meet the Red Skull, the Gatekeeper or whatever.
Yeah.
Stonekeeper. And it's the same thing with Thanos and Gamora. You have to sacrifice the one you love. And of course, they had a thing or something.
They're just really good friends. And even through all that, we still didn't really see it coming. So Hawkeye and Widow are just kind of...
They're fighting each other for the chance to kill themselves.
For who's dying. And there's a point where you really think it's going to be Hawkeye. And he gets her with an explosive arrow. And he dives off. And he's like, tell my family I love them. And at the last minute, she grapple hooks. And just like, oh my God, the way she looked up at him and was just like... let me go. And she just backflips off, and Widow falls to her death, and she's gone.
That upset me. That really upset me. I won't lie.
I was surprised.
I didn't care for either of them originally, but over the course of the past 11 years through these movies, I've started to care about Black Widow.
She drew me in a lot more than Hawkeye did.
Oh, yeah. I didn't give a about Hawkeye. I still don't. He's a guy with a bow and arrows. I don't care. But in that scene, I was really rooting for him to die. And they killed Black Widow. And I'm just saying, like, if you want to have a female face for, the lead of Marvel going forwards, it should have been Black Widow.
Everybody knows her the most movie-wise as far as we go now.
Yeah, people have been asking for a Black Widow movie for years now.
But one other important thing to point out in all this...
She didn't
jumping around shenanigans. Death. She didn't. But an important story element is Nebula and War Machine go back to recover one of the stones, and the Thanos and Gamora and Nebula of that time, which is shortly before the first Guardians movie, basically find out that the two Nebulas are linked. So
they're
Thanos...
on the same Wi-Fi kind of thing.
Yeah. So Thanos, through that Nebula's memories, sees everything that unfolds in Infinity War.
And the time they jump to, by the way, is the very beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy. Mm-hmm. So Thanos hasn't gone and collected the stones yet.
At this point he's not had a single stone.
But because he's got Nebula kind of captured, he's able to look through current day Nebula's memories using present day Nebula. He sees everything she sees, which means he sees all of Infinity War.
He sees himself dying.
He sees himself do the snap. He sees himself get killed. And that lets him know, hey, I can change things, and these guys are pulling all the stones together for me. So they kind of stow away on board the Guardian ship.
Yeah, we swap nebulas, y'all.
Yeah, we swap nebulas. And as the heroes time travel back to present day, which is actually 2023 because of that 5-year time jump, Thanos and his ship travel into present day with them, and
we get one of the movie's honestly most intense scenes, because there's a scene where they all get back, they realize that Black Widow, Natasha's dead, everybody's kind of sitting around. Thor's even like, I didn't even think they were that close, but he's like really in denial. He's like, you keep saying that, like, she's dead. She's not dead. Why are you acting like she's dead?
Yeah, and Ant-Man's like, guys, I think we might have a problem. He's looking out the window.
No, he's like, I think it worked. And out of nowhere, he just implodes. I thought he was dead.
Explodes.
As we see that Thanos' ship has followed them back, and he's just lighting up the Avengers base with missiles. Like,
the Avengers mansion just gets demolished. Everybody gets buried in rubble. It's a struggle to get out of there.
Rhodey's drowning.
Here's the thing I think we forgot to mention that Tony built a Infinity Gauntlet.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Tony coming into play here now. The whole point of going back and collecting the stones was to use the new gauntlet that Tony built.
I'm sorry,
Hulk was going to use
that actually happens right before the Ant-Man thing is, like you were saying.
They managed to bring the stones together, they put it into the gauntlet, and Hulk decides he's going to be the one to use it, because apparently when you do the snap, it emits radiation, which is mostly gamma radiation.
Which matches with the Hulk.
Which he can just absorb, luckily enough. So Thanos blows up the mansion, we get this epic fight scene, and basically everybody gets their ass kicked.
Yeah.
Thanos calls in all of his fucking army.
His whole army.
The entire army. New York is legitimately leveled. Yeah. There is nothing left. Except Captain America with a broken shield got his ass kicked.
And prior to that, we did not have an indication that the reverse snap actually worked outside of Ant-Man saying, I think it worked. So we go through this thing where everybody's buried under rubble, but they're escaping, and Hawkeye currently has the gauntlet. And like he was saying, Thanos shows up, and he is kicking Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man around like nothing without a single damn stone.
Until it's just Captain America left.
And that's when you hear it, and it leads to one of the most epic scenes in this movie, if not in all of Marvel. You just hear it through Captain America's earpiece. You hear, hey, it's Sam. Cap, can you hear me? It's Sam, and he's kind of looking around. Look to your left. When a portal opened by Strange, and everybody, Black Panther, Spider-Man, the Guardians, everybody starts re-entering.
Wong and Doctor Strange are just opening up a bunch of portals, and all these heroes are coming
everybody,
through.
there's portals all over the damn place, and everybody is coming back through.
Pepper Potts shows up in the rescue armor.
Yes, that was awesome. Valkyrie shows up riding one of the horses.
Yeah, the Pegasus.
And oh my god, it's just a great moment.
Yeah, the fight can easily be broken down into 3 parts. First off, everybody shows up. Then it's like a game of football, and they're trying to get the glove, and everybody's just tossing it back and forth between each other. And eventually, Thanos gets it.
Yep.
Thanos gets it, and
we Ex Machina Captain Marvel in there. I'm sorry, she was a bit of an Ex Machina, but it was nice to see that she wasn't the hero of the day, because Thanos ultimately did whoop her ass.
Yeah, that's true. Even without the stones on him, he still knocked her around.
He ragdolls her.
Yeah.
But what ultimately saves the day is one of the most gut-wrenching moments in the movie. And you see Doctor Strange, because previously him and Tony had an exchange, and he said he couldn't tell him if this was the reality they wanted, because then it won't happen. And you see Tony, everybody's kind of thrown around the battlefield, and Doctor Strange just looks at Tony with one shaky finger and goes like that. And Tony launches at Thanos.
As Thanos puts the stones back into his glove and he's absorbing the power, that's when Tony runs up with his gauntlet and just absorbs the stones out into his armor. And now Tony has the stones.
And with 3 simple words, he says, I'm immortal, or I am Thanos, or something.
Yeah, Thanos
snaps,
might be inevitable, but
nothing
I am
happens,
Iron Man.
And 3 simple words, well, I'm Iron Man. Bam. And it reverses everything. Thanos and his army start melting away. They start dusting away. And Tony that was crazy. Peter Parker runs up to him and he's like, Mr. Stark.
Yeah.
It's kind of a reverse of the Infinity War ending. And,
yeah, because Tony's done for. He's kind of like comatose at this point.
Holy shit. Like, that was just... I saw the first Iron Man when I was 14. I'm 25 now. That hits. Even though I hated Iron Man 2 and 3. But that hit, man.
You grow to love somebody over a movie character over 11 years.
And that was a gut-wrenching moment. Like, I was looking at him and we were both just kind of like,
man,
misty-eyed and shit. And I'm like, this is really getting me right now.
Yeah, they really hit you in the feels 2 or 3 times.
They really do. And then finally we launch into our ending, and what's important to note about that is Thor makes Valkyrie he actually says king. He doesn't say queen once. He makes Valkyrie the king of New Asgard, and he goes on a journey with the Guardians.
Yeah, Fat Thor goes to join Guardians of the Galaxy.
In one of
we'll make a video on that later.
In actually another very touchy kind of this is the end of this character's arc moment. One thing that was noted when they went back for the stones is they would have to come back and put them in the place that they got them.
The stones had to be returned where and when they came from. Otherwise, they would have screwed up the timeline completely. So Cap decided he'd be the one to return all the stones, which he did.
He did.
But he never returned to the present. He decided to go back to the 1950s, and he lived out the rest of his life with Peggy Carter.
You get a really cute scene of them in that time period. He finally gives her that dance.
Yeah.
And he shows up on the bench as old man Cap, and it's very heavily alluded as he's talking to he finally lived his life, that he's going to die peacefully, and he hands Falcon the shield and gives him the title of Captain America. So take that what you will. We pan out with Tony's funeral. Everybody's there, even that brat-ass kid from Iron Man 3 that did absolutely nothing.
I had to Google that afterwards.
We all did. Nobody knew who the hell that was. But everybody's there. Even Aunt May is there for her one
Aunt May got like
second.
2 seconds of screen time.
But everybody wraps up, and they floated out to sea with the little thing that says, "This is proof that Tony Stark has a heart." You get that
the first
final
movie.
feels moment.
And then roll credits. And then end credits.
Don't stay for the fucking end credits. Bleep me there.
There is no end credits. It's just everything goes black, and you hear the sound of Tony Stark banging the hammer in the cave, building his original
Our whole
suit.
theater was like, what the hell?
Yeah, there was a lot of disappointment.
We just sat through 15 minutes
I
of credits for
understand
that.
why you did it. Oh, and when they time traveled to go get the stones, by the way, when they hit the 1960s, that's the Stan Lee cameo.
Lee.
He's a young Stan Lee yelling, "Make love, not war," as he drives by a military
Stark
base.
Industries. I think this is his final cameo.
Yeah.
But it was a great movie. I don't feel like it lived up to the hype, but then it was honestly impossible for it to.
I would say the fight scene was better for Infinity War just because there was less going on. So
There was more
easier to follow.
focus. It wasn't all over the place. But this was just, I mean,
So
on a
action-packed.
scale of epicness that is, it's unreal. Like you knew these characters were all going to come together, but you just couldn't prepare yourself for that shot.
It didn't feel like 3 hours.
No. Oh God, no!
Like 3 hours.
That was like an hour and a half for me. It felt like. But one thing I do want to point out is I like that they stuck to was there was no pre-snap deaths that came back. So Vision, Heimdall, Loki, they're all dead. Even though after we saw them screw up getting the Tesseract, Loki actually picks it up and disappears. We don't know what's going to happen with that.
We'll deal with that in a different
but
video.
We'll get that later. As for Gamora, we actually get the Gamora pre-Guardians in this timeline. Our Gamora
survived.
didn't come back. But I thought it was nice that they kept to that. There was a lot of nice nodbacks to stuff that happened over the years without feeling too fan servicey. There's an amazing scene during the battle where Captain America picks up Thor's hammer and Thor just goes, "I knew it." A lot of cool stuff like that.
Yeah.
But go see this movie. Needless to say, it's such a gratifying feeling after all these years of keeping up with these. It feels good. It looks good. It plays good.
It really does.
It's just a damn
This is
good
one movie that deserves money.
Absolutely. There's a lot of crap out there, but this one really, really earns that money. And I would definitely go see it again. It's not perfect, but it's damn good.
Yeah. So for ZeitgeistOG, this has been Fat Man and Skeletor. And like, subscribe, and hit that bell if you're interested in more Avengers content.
Keep up to date. Let us know what you thought of the movie. Let us know if you've seen it yet. If you haven't, please don't scroll down to the comments and don't watch this video. If you've made it this far, you've probably ruined it for yourself anyway.
You're wasting your time with that.
But signing out, thank you for watching, guys.
Catch you later.
One of the ending lines of the videos. If you haven't seen this movie, you probably shouldn't watch this video.